Um, well, I taught special education for 25 years. And so during that time, I became involved in spiritual development. And I was in a spiritual development class in a spiritualist church. And at one point, and part of the class every week was we would sit in silence and darkness and give messages to one another. And I always got bored. And so after the third or fourth week, I started to make stuff up. Well, after, I guess, the first 6 months of the class and stuff, the minister thought, everybody's doing so well, we're going to do an evening in church and everybody will have a part of the service. So he was giving everybody assignments as to what part of the service they were going to do. And I was the new kid in the block. And so everybody got something except me. And as I was leaving, I thought, I can watch everybody sweat. And he said, "Oh, Barbara." And I said, "Yes." And he said, "You're going to do the platform mediumship." And I backed up and I said to him, to be perfectly honest, I'm faking. And he said, "No, you're not." And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm faking. For sure, I'm faking." And he said, "No, you're a natural and you're the first natural I've ever met. And it's a pleasure to watch you work." And I said, "I'm a school teacher and I'm a fraud as far as this goes." And he said, "Well, listen, don't sweat it. I'm sure you'll do fine." And I finally said, "I'm going to embarrass you." And he said, "Can't happen." And I said, "Oh, I will." And he said, "I tell you what, get some friends and, have them sit around and give your friends messages if you're really worried." And I said, "Gotcha." And I had 5 friends that I hung out with, and I told them what I was going to do. I gave them each $20, and I said, "Come and let me give you a message, and then we'll go and have dinner." And they all said, "Sure." So I sat through everybody else really squirming like crazy, doing their parts, and silently making fun of them, realizing that they would be silently making fun of me when I got up there. And when it was time for the platform mediumship, which is the very ending of the service, I got up there and I stood and I looked around. Not one of my friends was there.